gratitude you put in the pot. A little bit gratitude, thank you so much. And then a little bit of methanol, may you be well and healthy for many more years. And the texture of the dish becomes very nice. Ne? Good taste, good texture. So we keep it there. Meditation doesn't stop. It just morphs. So we have the eyes closed and we are present in the body. Okay, I'm ready. I'm going to only open the eyes now. There will be light, color, shape, forms, concepts. The mind will start understanding what it is. But there are only a little bit more objects, but the mind continues stable. Ne? That's our job. So stay 50% of our attention in and 50% of our attention out. Anyway, you will understand. We know English. We don't need to pay too much attention. 50 in, that's fair. Ne? 50 for the body and mind, what's happening in, and 50% of our attention outside. So we don't get lost. We kind of stay home always. Sounds like a good plan? Sounds like a good plan. No, that's too soft. Sounds like a good plan. No, that's too soft. Sounds like a good plan. Hey, very good. Okay, so my dear family, when I just came from offering 3 retreats here in the United States. One was in Houston, and then another one was in Creston, Colorado, and the last one was in Taos with youth. It was a whole week retreat. So I got invited by Bhantes and Mama, Papa, the family here. So very gladly came here. And as I arrived, in the car coming back from the airport, how were the retreats, etc., etc. And then I started saying what we did with the youth. And then later on, when the invitation came for this talk, I asked Bhantes and the family, what would you like that the talk to be? And they mentioned, I explained what we did in the retreat in Taos and in Houston, what we did there. So they say, why don't we speak about that? So would you like to have a micro retreat? We like a half-hour micro retreat. I will try to shrink the work that we did in 5 days. It is a process that we do, but I think it's very, very important information to have, especially if someone in your family is experiencing some anxiety, or anybody here that from time to time worries about things? Me. Anybody here who from time to time feels some anxiety or inner movement? The mind is like this, raise your hand. Oh, it's kind of unanimous. Sometimes we feel a little bit of fear, yes, or aversion, etc., etc. But that's kind of in the normalcy, no? Now, unfortunately, happening. But as we know, for youth, when we see the statistics, depression is increasing, anxiety is decreasing, fear, and if fear is not identified on time, it becomes paranoia, unfortunately. And I have to say, I have experienced paranoia in the past, but I have good news. There are ways to unplug it. So I was having strong attacks of paranoia, really, but working with the teachers in the monastery, we found we found where is the plug, so we could unplug it. And I am very happy to report that 14 years ago, all those mental states have not returned. And I have seen it working for other people, so we will work a little bit. I mean, it's a micro. This maybe in the future we can do a retreat and really work the 5 days systematically on how to develop this. But it's very important, so everybody ready to go? We were gonna work, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Ready? Off we go. So the problem is there. So let's take a look. What is the cause of the problem? We call it many ways: depression, anxiety, paranoia, fear, etc., etc. But actually, we can simplify, and that's something that the Buddha was very skillful at. My hero, it's like the Buddha says, and it's totally true. You will see the logic behind all these things. There are only 2 culprits, only 2 mental ingredients that are making the mess. So actually, the 2 ingredients is aversion, non-acceptance. I don't like what is happening. Either what is happening with anger, what happened in the past, I don't like it, so I get resentment or a grudge, or what I don't like that could happen in the future. I don't know, but maybe something I don't like will happen in the future, and here is where fear and anxiety arises. So actually, it's only 1 mental ingredient, dosa, aversion, in different moments. Present, anger. Past, regret, guilt, resentment and grudge, and future, fear and anxiety, isn't it? But it's the same thing. I don't like it. I don't want it. What happened? What is happening? Or what could happen? That's even worse because it's not even happening and we're already worrying about a fantasy. Is when I think, oh man, we are really, really crazy. I'm worrying about something that never happened, and I ask this question. Anybody, we know all of us have experienced fear, even animals experience fear. I think it's unanimous, all of us. My dear family, from all what you have experienced fear in the past or anxiety, how many things became true from what you worry? Tell me a percentage. Tell me. Everybody's smiling. Not even 5%, isn't it? Even if we go 5%, and very often it's not even 1%. My dear family, this is serious, and it is a fact. Fear is a liar. So how should we treat fear if we know it's a liar? If we believe a liar, well, that's called different, eh? Fear and anxiety are liars. We just prove it now. So we need to treat them accordingly. Next time that they're nagging, oh, what if this, what if that? Watch out, the favorite phrase of fear and anxiety is, what if? That's their favorite phrase. What if this, and everything negative. Anyway, that is one of the culprits behind all what depression. It is present there. I don't like, or I didn't like what happened. But there is another one that is very tricky, and it's also expectations. At the same time that I don't want something to happen, I wish something to happen in the way I like. And when reality comes and shows different, immediately, again, suffering, like a flame. The conditions for suffering arise. So these two culprits, these two, how you say, bad guys, malevolos, how you say, enemies, these two bad guys, hitman, I don't know how to say, these guys make the trouble, and they have a characteristic. One, aversion obsesses it in what is going wrong or what could go wrong, and desire obsesses with what we don't have. Do you desire something that you already have? Anybody? 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 You already have it. Do you desire? Now is no desire. Now it morphs into attachment. I don't desire because I don't desire because I have it, but now I don't want nothing to happen to it. Now is attachment, so it just like a switch. Okay, so what can we do in order to overcome these two? There is a simple practice, my dear family, that is very often overlooked because of its simplicity. But simple doesn't mean that it's not efficient. It's very simple, but it's overlooked. And it is precisely the opposite. If desire and obsession, if desire and aversion obsesses in what we don't have or what we don't, or what is going wrong, my dear family, yes, conscious gratitude is the opposite. We cannot underestimate it. We need to practice it systematically, because gratitude, look at the beauty, look at the power. Gratitude sees what we do have and what is going right. So it's totally the opposite. So if we keep gratitude, practicing it consciously and systematically, we can really override the negative tendencies of this suffering. So let's do together. In the retreats, we have a whole day just to work and people write, but let's do a common here. Please tell, anybody feels gratitude because you have home? Raise your hand. Anybody feels gratitude because you are healthy now? Because you have food? I mean, you can just leave the hand up. Everybody raise your hand, and I would just say, tell more things. Brainstorm, what are you grateful for? Come. You have work, how's work? What? Community. Ajahans. Oh, very good. Sadhu. What else? Family. Who else is grateful for having family? All of us. What else? Dogs and pets. Oh, the food you cook. Very good. Sadhu. Yes. This community. Yes, the Sangha. Yes. The Buddha and the Buddha, the triple gem. Very good. In the back. The land we walk on, to have a planet. Imagine. To have a planet. There is a planet floating. Somebody else here? Somebody else? Anyway, the invitation, yes, Andy. We are human and can develop, and not just any kind of human, a human that is willing to cultivate. That is very precious and often overlooked. We are not just working human beings, but we want to cultivate ourselves. We know our potential is greater. That is something to be grateful. Because how many people we are in the world? We ourselves in the past didn't have much appreciation for it. Anyway, I will highly invite you, if you don't have a list of all the things you feel grateful, please, today is a Saturday. Do it. You will sit by yourself with a notebook and you will put in the top things that I'm grateful for and start writing. Get ready with a very thick notebook because you will need it. Go as intimate as I can walk. This brain works, there is a planet, there is oxygen, food, everything. You will write everything. So here's how we're gonna use it in the future. Next time that you listen your mind dissatisfied, grumpy, tantrumish, something like that, when next time you say, you will bring up your list, eventually you will put it in your phone and put the most important things on top. So immediately, when you recognize, let's make the determination. Until here, everybody okay? Okay, everybody? Okay, let's make the determination. Next time I find myself complaining, tantrumish, judgmental, obsessed with something, please, my dear family, please pick up your phone, open the note, and see all what we do have and everything that is going right for decades. We said you have gratitude for having a home. Since when have you had a home? We feel gratitude because we have food. Since when have we have food? I dare to say that if we didn't choose, none of us were hungry in the past, or very few people. So that confidence, we will bring it up and we will tell now to the mind. Here comes the funny part. You will bring the mind and say, darling, the mind is complaining. No, this is not that. I want this. This went wrong. She did me do. I will tell this time. And we'll come with the list. Darling, I'm sorry. You are wrong. It is not true that everything is going bad. Look at the facts. We will bring the facts, and they are in. Yes or no? Are the facts in? Yes or no? Are the facts in? Yes or no? Yes, very good. So we will bring the facts, sorry. We'll bring the facts and bring the mind. Darling, you are wrong. Look what is going right. And immediately you will see the decompression. Can you feel it now? Can you feel it now? It makes logic, not just by imagining. Please, my dear family, don't forget. Next. Gratitude is a coin with two sides. It has two sides. So, would you feel gratitude for your parents? Raise your hand. Who is father and mother here? Raise your hand. Father or mother? Yeah, many. Bhante? Your father? No. If you are a father. I thought. Wow. I want to be the godfather of your baby. Where is your baby? I was like, where is it? Very good. Okay, so our parents, would your parents be in your gratitude list? Yes. Would your children be in your gratitude list? I bet. Would your friends will be in your gratitude list? I am sure, isn't it? Well, I want to say that if your mother and father were here today, I am sure you will be on their list. I am sure if your children were here, your name would be definitely in their list. And actually, in my gratitude list and in our gratitude list, all the people who support us, imagine we are alive, literally alive, because of your kindness. How come you will not be in our list? How do you feel knowing that your name it's in our list, how do you feel? How do you feel that your name is in the list of your mama and your papa? How do you feel that your name is in the list of your children and friends? Very beautiful, ne? Gratitude acknowledges the kindness and generosity of others. But as an act of justice, we need to recall all the goodness that we have performed in the past. So I will invite you to do the second list. You will write on top the good that I've done in this life. And remember, that list is not for our egos. If our egos touches that beauty, it will putrefy it. It will destroy it. This list is for you. Keep it as a treasure. And you will start putting things that I've done good in the past, and we will write, I helped. Think about the people you have helped. Let's do it together. We can't do the retreat. Maybe in the future we can. But just let's do together as we did with gratitude. I've helped. You have the names in your face. I warn you, our culture is not used to do this. And the mind may experience some recoiling or unwillingness. So be it. But we need to make justice. I fed, if you were a mother or a father, if you are a mother or a father, imagine the millions of acts of generosity and kindness that you would have done just for your children to be alive. If you are a teacher, I have taught, think of them. I have healed. I accompanied when a person or a friend or a family member was experiencing a difficult situation. We were there, isn't it? How do you feel to recognize the beauty that others feel about you? Keep it in. The mind can have some resistance, I know, but the Buddha was right. In many ways, the Buddha in the scriptures calls for our attention. If we are to do good and avoid doing bad, sabba papa sa akaranang kusala sa upasampada, how are we going to do if we don't even recognize when we have done it? And wait, once we recall of that, with humility, I have been generous in the past. And I sign it, and we will all chop it. Today, we ate because of your generosity. And we are alive for decades. Let nobody doubt about human kindness. Let nobody doubt about human goodness, because all of us monastics, female and male, will stand up and say, sorry, you are wrong. Please, my dear family, find an intimate moment, and with all honesty and humility, please write all the good that you have done in the past in peace, just as a fact. And here comes the usage of it. Here comes the good part. Anybody here has ever listened your mind telling you that you are not enough? Raise your hand. I have here listened his mind. Any of you have listened your own mind telling you, bad monk, bad monk, bad monk, bad monk, bad boy, bad girl? No, bad girl like Batman, like a Batman, like bad, with D. Anybody here has listened your mind bullying you, telling you that we are not enough, we are bad? All of us. Well, my dear family, please do this list. Put it into your phone, and we now take the determination. Next time that I listen this mind insulting me, telling me that I am not enough, that I am a bad person, I will remember and take out the phone. Show the facts, because what you did is done. That is the beautiful thing. We are not hoping to be good. You have already been generous, aren't you? You have already taught something to someone else, helped somebody else in a company, isn't it? The goodness is done, is planted in our consciousness continuum, and the karma is performed. And more to come towards the future. Do you see the hope? Once I recognize naturally how we do goodness, I know how I will be efficient in the future. So imagine all that is coming, and especially when we hear our minds complaining or criticizing us, we will bring the facts, and again we will tell, hey, darling, sorry, you are wrong. Here are the facts. It is not true that I am not kind, because I have been kind in the past many times. It is not true that I'm not generous or good. Do you see the value on this? This practice is called Silanosati. Sila means good behavior or moral behavior. Anu means repeatedly. Sati means sati, mindfulness, continuous mindfulness over our good behavior. And we are not being here innovative or avant-garde monks. No, it was taught by the Buddha, and the teachers constantly call for us, and we must remember. And I have to say that in the West, every time we are in the meditation centers, there is a lot of emphasis only on concentration and meditation. But all these practices are the thing that makes the dish tasty, and we cannot forget, my dear family. Do we see the logic and the beauty of it? How do you feel to know yourself noble? How does it feel? I've done good in the past. I'm still a work in progress. We are not chanting victory, not at all, because there is much to do towards the future. But now we are standing. Can you feel the rectitude? Feel even your posture of the body has changed. Do you feel the dignity? Yes, we can. Humbly, but I know my potential, and the best thing is that I will not stop. I take the determination. I will not stop. I know what comes naturally, and I will continue to do so. And in some areas that I still can improve, I will. We still have life ahead. Our conditions are great, isn't it? We have everything. So, my dear family, the next time we hear our mind criticizing us, we'll bring the facts. And our mind will come back. And lastly, I want to say, sometimes also other people criticize us. And Sayadaw Tejaniya, where all the teachers, not just Sayadaw Tejaniya, give a very wonderful solution for when we are criticized. Next time that you hear a criticism from somebody, you will know your list, and you will know, I appreciate your comment, and maybe you are right, because I cannot see my ears. I can see all of your ears, but I can't see mine. Let me see. Let me try. Not possible. No, I can't. I've tried. Oh. So maybe that person is right. The way, the paper, the wrapping that he or she gave is very ugly. But maybe she is, or he is giving me a gift. So the teacher says, when somebody come and criticize you or even insult you, remember your good qualities. How would we do that if we never make this list? So please do it. Remember your good qualities. And also when somebody comes and praises us, in order for our mind not to... Very often people say, oh, you look very beautiful. And suddenly, sorry? That you look very beautiful. What did you say? Very tricky. The mind likes to be praised. So in the same way, the teacher says, next time somebody comes and praise you, you appreciate and receive. Thank you for your kindness. But inside, I also remember, yes, I still carry impatience, aversion, desires, and then the mind stays stable. So that is the way that we will do. And you want to know, we still have a little bit of time. Time okay? Yes? Like how much? Yeah. 5 minutes, okay. Okay, my dear family, everybody breathe in, breathe out with satisfaction, or, breathe in and breathe out. Because from this, there is another benefit, and it's a big one. Eh? Everybody, we go forward. Sign here, ne? Safety belts, put the safety belts. This list, the teacher said, is going to be very useful in a very important moment in our lives. Please do this list with all humility and visit it often. Especially, we know, when our mind is bullying us. No, darling, you are wrong. And we must know this very well because the teachers give the following instructions. If we find that somebody is dying near us and we need to accompany that person, the teacher said that the best thing we can do for them is reminding them the good they have done in their lives. So their mental vibration rises to their most noble, dignified, upright, and gentle, generous self, if we were to call it, or vibration of the mind. And if that person happened to die at that moment, it is the best, because nature doesn't punish or gives rewards. Cause and effect. What ticket you have, I tell you where you sit. If you get a ticket from up there, they won't sit you in front of the stage. Whichever ticket you get, when we die, it just passes. So, my dear family, we can also find ourselves dying. At some moment, we might say, sometimes I imagine myself, I look down, oh no, I don't think I will make it out of this one. So, the best thing that we can do at that moment is remember this list. The kindness, the generosity, all the good that we have done, so we raise the frequency of our mind in satisfaction. You can feel it now, no, isn't it? Just to remember the good we have done. I've been of service of somebody. So hopefully at that time we can all say in peace, at least I tried. I don't know what you may feel about, but that thought already gives me a lot of peace. At least I tried. We can breathe peacefully, and if nature makes the next move, we just take the last one. And ready, dignified, upright, and smiling. Imagine. Wouldn't it be a nice way to say goodbye to this chapter, which is just a chapter of a cosmic book? Just a chapter, just change. But wouldn't it be nice? My dear family, do you see how important are these two lists? And if you don't have them, please make them. Use them for our own liberation from desire, obsession, and attachment, negativity, remorse, grudge, anger, fear, anxiety, and above all, for this negativity towards ourselves, this self-criticism, never enough. And hopefully, we can have it so nicely that whenever it's time, elegantly, we depart. Sounds like a plan? Sadhu, sadhu for all of us, work for all the good you have done. My dear family, I will indulge a little bit, but in the name of all the people that you have helped in the past, in the name of your children, in the name of your teachers, in the name of your mother, father, grandparents, friends, and people that you don't know, in the name of all of them, especially if they didn't have the opportunity to do so, thank you very much for your kindness, Thank you very much for your generosity. Thank you very much for your company, your advice, what you taught them, what you offered to them. I'm very happy and honored seeing your beauty. I'm honored to be your friend.
Handamaya Dhammakataya Sadhu Karandanamase Sadhu
Sadhu, sadhu,
Anumodami. Gracias, Bhante.
That means thank you. Yeah, so we are really grateful. Very nice talk, very good reflections. Hope everybody does do that. And now we have a chance for questions or thoughts. People on Zoom can raise their hand, and if anybody has a question here, you can raise your hand, and we'll have Miles bring a mic over to you so that, yep, we got Sid with a question. And it can be especially for Bhante, or just a general question or point.
I don't have a question, but I would like to share my thoughts. I thank you, Bhante. That was a beautiful talk. And when I was listening to your talk and I was examining with my own experience, and it was very true. That's what I felt. So the reason I'm sharing this because it might be helpful for other people. I had clinical depression all my life, and when I look back, what I see that it was always some kind of anxiety for future, like will I be ever this or that, this will happen, or in the past, it's very difficult to like, oh, somebody did that, or I did that to someone else, kind of guilting and all those things, right? So then I started learning about more Buddhist teaching and from our ajahns. So I started developing one practice that tremendously helped me. Like even though I was trying like a lot of things like hobbies, dancing, working out, so whole one, but it doesn't bring that much of peace. But one practice I started doing is like chanting all the time. Even when I'm walking, I would chant like this: wise are easy to please, and a fool's mind will fault find. So anytime I am saying, I am judging myself or criticizing myself, like, oh, am I being a fool or am I being a wise? And I'll do this like 4 or 5 times, and then I'll stop by and I'll ask myself, what in this moment I am pleased about right now, I'm happy about now. And then mind will bring something. And sometimes if mind brings something traumatic or not very fun, and I would remind myself, like, hey, let's be wise. You know, like Buddha taught us, a fool's power is to fault find. Let's not fault find. So as I continuously doing that again and again and again, each moment, I started finding that the space, this lightness that I've never felt before. And I like I'm waiting for the bus, I'm chanting this, and then after some time I would ask like, hey, what is good about right now? Like, oh, I'm waiting for the bus. Maybe I'm taking a shower, and then I'm chanting this, wise are easy to please, and fool's mind will fall fine. And then like, hey, what is good about? Oh, warm water, that's great. And also, as we were talking about journaling, so every single day at night, I do journal, and then I have 3 sections. First section is what am I grateful about my mom. I had a very difficult relationship with my mom in the past. So every day I would write something that I'm happy about my mom, what the thing about her, what I'm proud of her. Then another section is what I have done today that is making me pleased. And then what is one thing that I am pleased about other people. These 3 things in my journal. And then for the list, I'll just maybe going too much, but one last thing. I have a list, but it's not about list of, it's more about list of people. So let's say in last 6 months, the people who at least 80% of the time has been nice to me, I have a list of them. So then I look at, okay, I'm not alone. So let's say Lauren is in my list, let's say. And then let's say I'm driving and then someone cuts me in front of me. I'm like, oh, would that person who is in my list would do that? Lauren would do that? I'm like, no, Lauren wouldn't. Not in my card, not in my list. like, sorry, not in my card, not in my heart. That's kind of like I go. So I'll forgive them easily. Like, okay, last 6 months, 80% of the time, the people were nice to me. That person is not in my list, so I expect them to be a little bit rude. That's okay.
We should bring the last 20 in. The last 20%, we should bring everybody in.
Yeah, maybe eventually, but I see that list and then I'm like, oh, okay, there are some people, they care about me. At least last 6 months, 80% of the time, they've been like super nice and kind and thoughtful to me. That makes me feel very happy. I'm just sharing this thing in case it helps with other people, because I had tremendous amount of depression all my life. And the amount of lightness that I experience these days, it surprises me. I'm like, I have never experienced this thing. I've never experienced this type of joy, this type of fearlessness. And many of the times I have experienced some of the very tough situations, but still the amount of time I get into the point of recovery and back on my feet, it's incredibly, I am very, very, very happy with myself and very, how do I say, pleased with myself. Thank you, Ajahn. That was a beautiful talk. Thank you.
Bhante, would you mind speaking in terms of bringing in the final 20% of the Hayoka?
Of the Hayoka? This has become a very popular. Before I practiced Native American ceremonies for the Sweat Lodge, and the Lakota chiefs came to Mexico and they made a Sweat Lodge, and the Vision Quest and the Sundance in North Dakota. So what Bhante is referring, and it has been very useful, when I went, this is a story, ne? This was 2000, it was 99, in year 99, I went for the first time to South Dakota for the Sundance. So I was accompanying. So, you know, the Sundance is a dance that the Native Americans do for 4 days and 4 nights. They dance in front of the sun. As long as the sun is up, they are dancing out without taking any food or any water for 4 days and 4 nights. So we were on that ceremony. And on that ceremony, I saw one gentleman that was wearing feathers, you know, like dung 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 dung, like all the sorry, but just to make some context, and then he was wearing the feathers, and that person was, by the third day, when all the dancers were so tired, already 3 days, no food, no water, dancing in front of the sun, he would come and drink water in front of them. He would come and drink water in front of them, very, very, the bottle he had was so cold that was even sweating, you know, and he was doing, and then he would throw the water in front of the dancers, and the dancers just like looking like this, and I was outside, I was not dancing that time, so I felt a lot of aversion towards that person. What is that person doing to them? And then he was dancing backwards. Everybody was going forward, and he would dance backwards, tum, 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 going backwards, and actingly crazily, and I was kind of, second day, a little bit of aversion. I didn't practice mindfulness back then. Second day, more aversion. Third day, more aversion. So I was like, But at the end, when the ceremony finished, I saw that the chief was staying there, and that gentleman was beside the chief. And I'm like, I go to Uncle, to the medicine man who brought us there, Uncle Luciano, and then I say, Uncle, what is this man was making the life difficult to everybody? And then he said, yes. Why is he beside the chief? And then he said, yes, he's a Hayoka. And then I say, Hayoka? What is that? And he said, it's a sacred clown. Hayoka is that person who has the ability to show you where you break, where you are weak. So that was actually his job. And in the tribe, people don't become a Hayoka, they born Hayoka. So, anybody here has a Hayoka in your life that shows you where are your buttons? Well, instead of having a bad relation as an enemy, now we should turn to them sensei, shifu, guru, whatever, ajahn. We should come because that person, and the Buddha in one Dhammapada verse says that if you have somebody who gently at the proper time lets you know where are you faltering, that's a treasure that he or she is giving you. So from now on, no more enemies. Now, Hayoka, master, the sacred trickster, because he's showing us, and then she turns to him like this. Oh, no, oh my goodness. remember, we also are Hayokas of somebody else. Eh? So I have one friend that one time says, remember that in the world, somebody is in therapy because of you. So remember, we think all the time we come into the victim side. Oh, the bad people, these people doing me bad. Really? Remember, we are also Hayokas of many people. So in the same way, it's very good to what Bhante was referring to change the relation between having an enemy. Look how different. And now, teacher, thank you very much for showing me where I break, where I get hooked. Thank you. Because I know, imagine the treasure that that person is giving us because he is letting us know, here is what you need to, this is what you need to develop. So that is we have been talking about it constantly. So hopefully that helps us to improve the relation we have with our teachers, with our Hayokas in our life. And may we stop being a little bit less, less of it.
Thank you, Bhante. Yeah, still have time for other questions, other points. Yeah, please.
Hi. First, thank you so much for the talk. I wish we had time for the full systematic 5-day retreat. Something I want to ask is, you made what I understood to be kind of a logical argument where the mind may be bullying you and saying, oh, you're bad, and you say, no, you're wrong. Look at all of these good things that I've done and all these acts of kindness. But it seems to me that this argument is reversible, because you could also have an inventory of all of the harm that you've done and then say, well, it's definitely true because look at all of this harm that I've done. And we could imagine people who are in the situation where if they were to even look honestly, they would find that maybe the willful harm that they've caused is actually of much greater consequence than the kindness or generosity that they've done. And so in this case, I think the logic of the situation would be like, yep, that's pretty bad. And I wonder how you would interpret, or what your perspective would be on this.
Yeah, actually, as we can see in the Buddha's teaching, we need to do an assessment of both. Because the essence of the teaching is avoid doing bad, cultivate what is good. The question is, do I know when I have done bad? It is not something that might happen. Actually, the Buddha encourages, go and see, and please check very honestly with, I don't like to use the word honesty. I like to use the word brutal honesty. Go with brutal honesty, really write the facts, and see what you did. Not to have more remorse or guilt or punishing ourselves, and see what were the effects of that. Let nature speak. Very often, I still feel regret for a lie that I made when I was a child. And when I remember, anybody here remember something that we said or did when we were a child, and the price has been so long that decades after, I still feel, yes, we need to go and bravely look at both things, but now we know. We are standing, once we have the perils where our mind can fall and also had the tendency to do so. For example, somebody contradicts us and immediately blah, 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 blah. Something negative comes up. Now we know when we have done it. We know the price that we have paid, not from previous life. We don't need to go so far. Just in this life, how harmful it has been for our own self-security, self-confidence, and the how do you say, the impression we have about ourselves, it goes low, and we don't need to be religious or Puritan or whatever. Nature is such that whenever a human being makes harm to him or herself and other people, remorse is bound to come. Mental agitation is bound to come. So actually, we need to do both. And not to focus on the negative, minding that we already have a very big habit of focusing on our negativity. When was the last time you say, oh, congratulations to me, congratulations to me, congratulations to me? Very, very rarely we do that, because our mind evolutionarily is programmed to see what is going wrong first. And we must take that into account, that we are, look, our ancestors who saw a lion and came, oh, look at this beautiful kitty, kitty, kitty. I swear to you that he is not our ancestor. And actually, I have bad news, safety belts. We must accept that actually we are descendants of cowards. Yes, I know it's a hard cookie to chew, but it's true. The one who went to the cliff and said, no, 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 I don't go. The one who saw the cat and said, no, 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 I don't get to the cat, that has more possibilities to be our ancestor. So taking into account that evolution has us prepare us to see the worst first, we must update our operating system because we are still dealing with a caveman operating system in the 20-something century, isn't it? And our conditions are very different. There are no more lions. There are some tensions, but we need to adapt. Know very clearly our tendency, instinctual tendency, and put it to the side, not to control of us, because many people suffering before going to bed thinking about all the bad things that could happen, and then adrenaline and cortisol arises. How can that person sleep? It has cortisol and adrenaline in the blood system, and then later on it becomes physical health issues, etc. So knowing that, we put it to the side, and the call for the Buddha is be brutally honest. In your potential to do bad, the same mouth hurt or the same mouth healed. The same hand hurt or the same hand healed. And here is where I see the beauty and the hope. Once we make that assessment very realistic and maturely, we see the potential of the bad I have done. I take the learning and compassionately for myself, take the lesson and make the determination not to do again. And now I know the opposite. And here is where I have full trust in all of us, that having this information clear, I really trust that we will all choose wisely. But without information, how can we take a decision? So actually, what you said, yes, and we are not just, it cannot just happen. No, the Buddha comes and said, do it, do it, do it, do it. Be very clear about bad action and good action, and choose for the benefit of you, your family, and all beings. And that I feel like the utmost elegance. Oh. It's like, oh, we will do that, and I really trust.
Thank you.
Yep, maybe 2 more questions. Maybe Sue's right here.
Thank you so much. So the saying darling to the mind, I've had my own words about it, and this particular mind likes to tell the same story over and over and over again. And so the idea of having like a clown or somebody who can kind of cut through that, I've sent metta to this mind that is so troubled, and investigated it and looked at origins and all of that. And the persistence of that story is so strong, it's so conditioned. So I was just wondering if you had some thoughts about that.
Yeah, I have a few tricks, ne? It's good. I like to, if anyway we need to do the work of cultivating ourselves, we better have fun in it. And there is joy and there is lightness. So I have one saying, I think we all can say that we have that thing, that repeating stories, no? So when sometimes I find the mind repeating the story, I tell to her. I say her because in Spanish we have gender for things. Or in Spanish, la mente is a girl actually. That's why I say her, ne? So I tell to her, when she's repeating the story, I tell to her, darling, darling, I was there. You don't need to repeat the story again. I mean, I was there. Why? So, and she kind of, oh yeah, right, I forgot, like kind of, I was there, man. So really, I saw it. The question is, and this is the very important part, what mental ingredient is propelling us to continue thinking about it? And unfortunately, safety belts, ne? Our mind even is punishing us, even is torturing us with the same story, because generally they are negative. The mind still feel either self-righteous, so we are attached to ourselves, how bad we were treated or mistreated, or the mind in its ignorance. That's why, my dear family, that's why ignorance is so dangerous. Ignorance can see a benefit in our suffering. The mind still wants to rumble about it. And generally, we have some investment in ourselves. how they treat me or mistreat me, why they did that to me, or even the mind gets something about it. And very often it happens in me. I will not speak for anybody, but yes, I confess, I was gaining something, or the mind thought that I was gaining something from victimization. And victimization is very seductive. Why? Because when we victimize, very tricky. I suffer because you did that to me, because you say that to me, and because you, and I am free from suffering. No, I don't suffer. I have no responsibility. And that is the allure, that is the enchantment that victimization does, and it's a very dangerous one, because the mind will continue perpetuating that self-harm. Even the people who harmed us already died. My grandfather, I knew that somebody insulted when he was a teenager. Imagine that person died decades ago, and I am his grandson. I knew about that. Imagine how many times he punished himself or tortured himself because of that self-righteousness and victimization. So although the mind might feel some kind of gain on that, it is a very ignorant gain, because it's hurting us, and it is not just not allowing us, not just punishing us or torturing us, but this, when I see it from the positive side, which is the one that I generally prefer, all the time that we spend rambling and rolling into old stories is time that I am not loving. Ooh, even goosebumps, ne? And that is too expensive already. I'm already suffering, but I also not loving. I'm also not growing. I'm also not being wise. So it's double or triple waste. So it is very good to let the mind, and we need to hold the rein and say, it is going nowhere, darling. My dear, it's going nowhere. Why? I was there and saying, and I will say one last phrase that I love, and I learned it from actually from an animation. So when the mind is nagging, one time in this movie, there are two animals fighting. One, this, that. And at one time, the fox says, I understand your concern, and your comments are valuable, but I have decided to ignore them. So please learn this phrase and use it towards the mind. Believe me, my dear family, it works. So sometimes I'm about to sleep, it's time to sleep, né? But the mind, oh, should we talk about this that you know what? Should we think about it? And then the mind starts again rolling the story. And then you just turn with kindness, because if we fight it, it will fight back. So gently, darling, I understand your concern, and your comments are very valuable, but I have decided to ignore them. And you just go back, send metta to all beings, and it can really work. We can train in that way. Or I also sometimes say, the last one I said, office hours, I attend you, office hours. Tomorrow we see, now it's time. I turn the little, this thing, the thing there. I turn the little paper that says closed, tomorrow we see. So it is possible, and we need to raise the hand, and yes, that phrase really works. So best of the luck, and welcome to the club. Anybody who has the same issue, raise your hand. Anybody who has the same issue, it's all of us. So it's good, at least we accompany each other.
Let's get 3 gigantic sadhus for Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I think Hegel said that evil lies in the gaze that sees evil all around it, and Bhante Rāhula lies in the gaze that sees good all around it. So it's really powerful to see how the Dharma shines through different people. And Bhante, thank you for blessing the Dharma with your presence in our community too. Just come and visit us again soon. Yeah. I think what we'll do now is the blessing braid.